Hello and welcome, guys and gals, to Ashes Bashes Gaming, your destination for discovering new and exciting games. Today on your screens we have Vectorio, which is a base building survival game developed and published by Ben Nichols and Brett Bonifas. It is a fairly straightforward game where you have to become stronger and unlock new buildings by capturing resources available on the map and conducting researches. What I absolutely loved about the game is how they made something so visually stunning with such basic concepts and a mechanism which can run on any potato PC. But the real deal clincher for me was the music. This is hands down one of the best EDM music I have come across in any game, and it is just so appropriate for the setting that it really immerses you into this neon 2D retro game world. Okay, so let's jump into the mechanics of the game. So initially you just have to focus on gathering one resource, gold. These yellow boxes denote gold mines and you have to build collectors over them to start harvesting the resources. Since there are no enemies incoming in the beginning, it makes more sense to just invest all your gold to produce more gold. You can also see on the top right the info about the collector building. It costs 600 gold, consumes 8 power and gives off 15 heat. Let's talk about the power and heat. All buildings consume power and you get a cap to your power, which is initially produced by your central hub. In this difficulty it is 5000. On the other hand, heat is given off by every building, and you also have a heat cap which gets increased after the first guardian, or it's the first milestone. Now the interesting thing about heat is that it attracts enemies. So throughout the game you will find pockets containing many buildings will automatically attract more enemies. Now you can game this system and create areas where they would automatically be attracted to more and reduce the focus on other areas, but that's a much more advanced technique which I will not cover here. The other thing about heat is that the game measures your success by total heat output, and hence new buildings are unlocked by raising your heat output. This makes sense as all industrialists are judged by the number of factories they own and automatically attract more enemies as they grow, right? So moving on, like any strategy game, initially you have to pay a lot of attention to using your resources efficiently and not letting them stockpile. Later in the game your priorities will be different and you will be expanding and building in volumes. But in the beginning, every investment should be made very carefully. Now here you can see the first enemies coming our way. Most enemies travel in the same vector and do not change direction, but later on in the game you will find enemies who target the nearest heat source, so pay attention to that. Another exploit of this is if you see an enemy coming your way, once they cross an area you can build a turret there and attack them from behind. The next building that is unlocked is the Energizer, which basically allows you to expand your buildable area. Consider them as power extenders which would help you expand into new territories. Now, placing them correctly is an art which takes a few tries to master. This helps you to maximize the resource tiles covered per Energizer. I definitely suggest having a proper look at the zoomed out map in the initial slow periods and making a plan about which areas you should expand to and which resource clump you should take over on priority. This would also help you plan out your front lines and set up your defense. The good thing about this game is that you can remove buildings with the right click and their resources get refunded completely. This comes in handy later in the game when you hit your power and heat caps, and also helps you shift the front line methodically. Now, every Energizer's build area needs to be connected to an already available build area for you to set down the building. But once an Energizer is up, you need not maintain the link. This allows you to build a link of energizers to reach faraway clumps and then refund the links in between so as to create islands. This can be considered an exploit, but the developers are still undecided whether they would consider it a feature or an exploit. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they consider it as a feature. One thing that you need to be very mindful of is that an energizer gets destroyed, then all buildings in that area are lost. So defend them energizers with your life. Another really helpful feature is the quick bar, where you can assign buildings to number hotkeys 1 to 9. Just open your menu, hover over any building and click on the respective number key to get it assigned. This really helps save time, but late game, even 9 hotkeys seem less. Now you will notice that there are these red clumps when you survey the map. These are enemy strongholds with turrets which will fire upon your buildings which are built too close. You have to take them out, and for that you need the rangers. These are turrets which are extremely long range and have a very heavy damage output. You've got to systematically move up your energizers and build the rangers to blast their strongholds to oblivion so that you can expand your territory. As you progress, you will keep unlocking multiple buildings, each with a different use. You unlock productivity buildings such as the enhancer, which enhances the productivity of all resource gatherers next to it, or the heat sink, which reduces the total amount of heat output. Personally, I think both these buildings come to use mostly in the late game. Now around the same period, you will hit the next resource which you need to worry about, which is essence. The purple tiles have it, and you need to collect them with considerably much more expensive collectors. Even the storage units of the essence cost a bomb. You use the essence collected to conduct researches such as increasing your hub's power, increasing the productivity of resource collectors, increasing the damage output of your turrets, and so on. Now each step of the research tree has an increasing cost and makes you heavily invest in the essence storage. So much so that the essence storage becomes your go-to building for investing any extra gold as you near your gold storage capacity. When in doubt, just build essence storages. There are also a variety of turrets which you further unlock, and my favorite one was the sprayer. This baby is expensive but is worth its weight in gold. It can handle all types of enemies except the big ones, and you just need to pair it with rangers to hold any particular area down. You subsequently unlock chillers, flamethrowers, miniguns, and even a Tesla tower as you play, at least till where I got to. I noticed that a variety of turrets in every area is key, and building just one layer of wall in front of them is often more than enough. The third resource is iridium and is collected from the green color tiles. Now this is a very late game resource and I did not reach it. The developers have themselves stated that it is a very overpowered and useful resource which is a game changer. Now there are multiple enemies which you will encounter. Initially they are small and one directional, but as you progress you will come across bigger ones. All enemies do touch and damage, and I have yet to notice anyone who has a range attack. Many approach with considerable speed though and are guaranteed to eradicate the target they are aimed towards. The first big guy you will encounter I call the Manta Ray because it looks like one. It spawns a school of smaller enemies on destruction and sure looks big as compared to the others, but is actually puny when you compare it to the motherships. Again, just a random name that I christen them with, because on destruction they spawn Manta Rays, which on destruction spawn smaller enemies. Now these guys are super large and need concentrated fire from the rangers to be broken down. This game boasts 6 guardians who come periodically as you increase your heat output. What are guardians? They are the colossal dudes with massive hit points who confidently stroll towards your hub. I have faced only the first one, which is the Revenant. I did not find it too much of a challenge. You will definitely lose buildings along its path, but as long as your Energizer is still up, you can deploy turrets on its tail and start attacking it from behind. Thankfully, when the Guardians come, none of the smaller enemies approach from the same direction, thus making the pressure bearable and allowing all your turrets to focus fire. After you defeat the first Guardian, your heat capacity increases and the enemies also change color. You face the same type of enemies essentially, just that they are now white and have considerably higher hit points. I'm guessing each Guardian would unlock a different color of enemies. Now keep in mind that this game is in early access, so this is the only game mode currently available, but they have a lot planned for the future of this game, such as waves and build your own dream bases and many other options. I can totally see myself spending hours on this. They are also going to be implementing a speed up feature, which was the only thing that I felt was lacking in the game. But the plot twist, which I can't stop thinking about, is that if we are the ones trying to harvest the resources and the enemies spawn just to defend their ecosystems, then aren't we the bad guys? The best way to ponder this question is by reflecting on it while actually playing the game, which you can do for free, as it is a free to play game and aims to remain so. I will leave the link to their Steam page down in the description below so that you can check it out. If you enjoyed this video, then smash that like button and consider subscribing to my channel so that you can discover new and exciting games daily. This is Ashes Bashes signing off. Until next video, game on!